Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the Caiden Cowger program, broadcasting from West Virginia. It is great to have you with us. So, last night we had the New Hampshire primary, and you had two big winners. You had Donald Trump, who did an absolutely outstanding job. And then you had Bernie Sanders, that did a fantastic job as well. And he really has the Democrats just absolutely scared out of their mind because they really just do not know what's going to happen. They don't know if Hillary's going to get it, if Sanders is going to get it. And it's really just absolutely concerning a lot of the establishment Democrats out there because you had Bernie Sanders last night who received a whopping 60% of the vote. 60% of the Democratic vote over in New Hampshire was for Bernie Sanders. Isn't that big? And then you have Hillary Clinton only received 39%. Now, Donald Trump was another big winner last night. Trump received 34% of the vote, with John Kasich at 16%. Ted Cruz was at 12% in third place. And Cruz and Jeb were neck and neck last night, and so they're really just making sure that everything's all right there because they were really super close. And for a while it was between Cruz and Marco Rubio, then it went from Ted Cruz to Jeb Bush, but Cruz did well, and John Kasich came out from behind. And the reason why Kasich did so well in New Hampshire was because Kasich was campaigning in New Hampshire when Iowa was going on and was focusing a lot in New Hampshire because he knew he wasn't going to get Iowa. He knew Cruz or Trump was going to win Iowa, so he put all of his energy in New Hampshire to try to get it, and he came out with second place. So he did fairly well there, but Trump still smoked them all, won by 34%. That's a really big number there. So, I mean, look for Donald Trump to be the nominee, guys. And Ted Cruz, I think he had his day in the sun when he was in Iowa. I think it's over for him. We'll find out more when we're in South Carolina. To my friends there at WXMB down there in Myrtle Beach, it's coming to you next. So, a matter of fact, I think Trump has a rally that is scheduled sometime in Florence. I have to look that up. And Florence isn't all that far away from you guys because I know that good friend of mine, Pastor Ron Dossler, down there in the Myrtle Beach area that operates WXMB down there along with his brother Patrick. Really great people. Are somewhere around that area because I know Pastor Ron also preaches at a church there in the Florence area. At least I think he still does. I'm not sure yet. But let me find out the date for you of when Donald Trump's going to be in Florence because I'm sure some of you might want to attend that. Here, no, where is it? Okay, he's going to be in Greenville. Oh, he's going to be in Myrtle Beach. Okay. Yeah, he's going to be in Florence. Or is he going to be in Florence? Maybe he's not going to be in Florence. Maybe he was already in Florence. Okay, well, anyway, he's going to be in Myrtle Beach, actually, right there in the Myrtle Beach area, on February 19th, 2016, and it's going to be at the Myrtle Beach Sports Center at 12 o'clock p.m. So that's going to be at the Myrtle Beach Sports Center at 12 o'clock p.m. there in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Now, Pastor Ron, Patrick, if you're listening, I would really appreciate it if you just air my show that entire day because if Donald Trump would tune in, he can hear my voice. No, I'm kidding. So anyway, but yeah, he's going to be in Waterloo, South Carolina on February 17th. And that's going to be at the Green Pond Highway to 2724 Green Pond Highway, Walterboro, South Carolina. 5 o'clock p.m., Sumter, South Carolina, at the Sumter County Civic Center at 7 o'clock p.m. Greenville, South Carolina, at the TD Convention Center at 7 o'clock p.m. And that's pretty much it for... I think that's pretty much it for the South Carolina area. So those are some upcoming dates, but yeah, he's coming directly to you guys at Myrtle Beach. Oh yeah, he's going to be at Clemson University too. Clemson University, that's there in Clemson, South Carolina, I mean. and it's going to be at Clemson University at 7 o'clock p.m. at the T. Ed Garrison Arena. So doors open at 5. So those are just some dates for you. Ted Cruz, I'm not sure about. But, yeah, guys, so that's going to be some major events that are coming up. But, yeah, South Carolina is next on the list. I'm thinking that Donald Trump is probably going to win there, too. According to a lot of the polls, anyway, Donald Trump has been doing very well in South Carolina. And I'll go ahead and, okay, actually it shows here with the, I don't know what I was reading, but it says that Donald Trump won by 35% in New Hampshire, according to Real Clear Politics. So I don't know, maybe I was reading an old poll or something, I don't know. But anyway, that's our old results. But yeah, so it was Trump at 35%, Kasich at 16%, and Cruz at 11%. So was it 11? Yeah, I guess it was 11.8%, basically 12%. But you had Bush right behind him at 11.4%. So I don't know what's going on. I guess they're going to fight it out. I don't know how they're going to solve that. Flip a coin, I guess. I guess I can flip a coin like what Hillary Clinton did when she was in Iowa against Bernie Sanders, because that always seems to go very well. Yeah, so that's what we have going on there. Anyway, so let's get to the South Carolina poll result that I was going to bring up for you. You have Donald Trump that is ahead by a huge number. He's about 16.3 points ahead of Ted Cruz. That's the second runner-up at 19.7%. That's a Real Clear Politics average. The worst that Trump is doing is out of the Augusta Chronicle, and the Augusta Chronicle found that Trump is only up by 14%, which I know I say only, but that's a huge number there too. Cruz is at 18%, so that's an even lower number for Ted Cruz. So that's still a pretty big number, and the Augusta Chronicle said that Trump is at 32%. CBS News, the YouGov poll found that Trump is at 40%, with Cruz at 21%. The NBC, Wall Street Journal, and Marist poll found that Trump is at 36%, with Cruz at 20%. And the Real Clear Politics average, once again, is Trump at 36%, Cruz at 19.7%, and Rubio in third with 12.7%. So it is in that order because, well, almost in that order, because the other one from the Augusta Chronicle says that Jeb Bush is ahead of Rubio by 13 to 11 margin. So it's that's what we have going on there in South Carolina. So you guys know more about it than they do, because you guys live there. So you can write to me or tweet me. Send me a tweet. Let me know who you think is going to get it. At Caiden Cowger, or send an email to me, M-E, at Caiden, C-A-I-D-E-N, Cowger, C-O-W-G-E-R, program, P-R-O-G-R-A-M.com. Let me know what you think, who you think is going to get it. So anyway, guys, so that's what we have going on there. I want to also let you guys aware of this. We have a special guest that is going to be coming on the show here in a little bit. It's going to be in the next segment. A good friend of mine, Robert Carnes, Senator Robert Carnes now, won the last election, is going to be coming on to talk about some recent controversy that he ended up getting in, supporting the right-to-work bill here in West Virginia. You had these union protesters that just swarmed the Capitol building, Charleston Capitol building, that is. And he's a state senator here in West Virginia, and they were debating back and forth on whether or not to pass the right-to-work bill. So anyway, they were referring to the people that were in support of right-to-work as free riders. Well, you had these people that were up in the balconies that were shouting down, being extremely rude and disruptive. So Senator Carnes decided to say that they were the ones who are freeloaders because they're being jerks. Okay, that's basically what he said. And next thing you know, it's making all the headlines. You have about 50, I think it said somewhere around 50,000 people in the record delta, people that were upset at Robert Carnes, about 50,000 people, not that were upset, but that watched the video of his little speech there on the Senate floor and his remarks on that issue. But you had some people that were really upset over it. A lot of the Democrats here, of course, were really aggravated with it, which, in my opinion, is fantastic. He's doing a great job. So, I mean, he's going to come on a little bit later to talk about that entire incident with us and going to try to explain himself and try to clarify on everything that took place. So you guys can look forward to that in the next segment. So anyway, but I think that, regarding this entire primary and everything, especially on the Democratic side, it's very, very fascinating, in my opinion, because you have Bernie Sanders that is doing remarkably well on the Democratic side. And I'm just going to tell you, you can look for him to possibly cause Vice President Biden to jump into the race. I've been saying this for quite some time now, and I've said this time and time again on the program. Look for Joe Biden to act like he is the Messiah. Look for Joe Biden to come in there trying to save the day and jump into this race, because that's the only way that Biden would jump into it, is if he felt that, someone like Bernie Sanders was going to get it and end up trumping Hillary. Because the Democrats really do not want to lose control, at least I hope not, to a socialist, although they do tend to represent socialist values. And see, here's the thing that I'm just going to say regarding this entire thing here. You either have the Democratic Party that is pandering to socialists simply because they want their votes, or you have the Democratic Party that is secretly socialist. So Bernie Sanders is their guy, and they're going to love Bernie. Bernie's going to bring this country to full-fledged socialism. It's going to be great in their minds. Now, I really don't know which one it is, because to be honest with you, while the Democrats do tend to really display socialist beliefs, I don't know if that's just a tactic to pander to socialists to get their vote, or if it's a tactic to fully implement socialism. I know President Obama would probably go for that, but if you see Joe Biden jump into the race, and that will explain a lot here, because we've often questioned, are the Democrats really socialist, or are they only interested in power? If Joe Biden jumps into the race, then we'll know that, no, they are only focused on obtaining power. They don't care about socialism or anything like that. They're only involved for themselves. Or if Bernie Sanders ends up getting it, and they don't run anyone else other than Hillary, then we're going to see, yes, they are a socialist party. They are full-fledged for socialism. And so this is really very intriguing to me, because this is something that I'm waiting for. I want to know what the Democrats truly believe, because you have Hillary Clinton that at one point in time in her life, and really wasn't that many years ago, just a little bit before, really just a little bit after President Obama and Joe Biden announced their support for same-sex marriage, she evolved on that issue. And the reason why she evolved was because the rest of her party evolved, and she wanted to be the nominee. So she didn't want that issue to get in the way. So she ended up changing her position on same-sex marriage, or she was in favor of it in the first place. So I don't know what it was. It was something. But either way, she's wrong. But, it's really intriguing to see if the Democrats just evolve their views for power, or if they are serious about making this country a socialist society. We saw this with FDR enacting all of these government programs, that many of which still remain today, although many of them became defunct. It's going to be it's quite fascinating watching everything unfold and take place here. And guys, I was watching Bernie Sanders last night as I was doing coverage for the primary in New Hampshire last night on Cowger Network. And for those of you who don't know, you can go and get a Roku. It's a little streaming device that you can buy at Walmart, and you can download Cowger Network, which is our streaming news channel. But I was covering it on there, and it's really quite scary to see Bernie Sanders' audience, to see his crowd that he's attracting. Donald Trump's is far greater, but Bernie Sanders is attracting big audiences as well. And it's almost identical to how Hitler came in and just started getting numerous amounts of support for his socialist values. And that's exactly what we're seeing with Bernie Sanders.
Fighting liberalism one lie at a time. Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
J.P. Morgan is now holding a record 55 million ounces of silver. Goldman Sachs and HSBC recently purchased 7.1 tons of physical gold. What do these bankers and mega money managers know that you don't? They're expecting another financial crisis, and over time, they're expecting the value of gold and silver to increase. Silver is trading below its production costs and is predicted to double by 2020. That's why you need our friends at Capital Gold Group. Capital Gold Group offers gold and silver for direct delivery and will not be undersold. If you find a better rate, they will easily match it just for you. Plus, their specialty is precious metals IRA rollovers for the ultimate in IRA security. Be one of the first 20 callers today to receive their free definitive gold guide, plus their exclusive A Sterling Time to Be Buying Silver report. They have an A-plus rating with a Better Business Bureau, so call the experts at Capital Gold Group now and see what investing in gold and silver can do for you. Call now. Call 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108. Once again, that is 1-800-932-4108.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Paraswabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is John Greenhut, the CEO of Paraswabs. And if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Paraswabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Paraswabs risk-free, call 1-800-678-4817. That's 1-800-678-4817. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-678-4817. That's 1-800-678-4817.
Have you ever had this brilliant idea for an invention? I mean, you think that if this idea, if this invention actually gets out in production and is able to be marketed and everything, this will make you millions and millions of dollars. So people have ideas like this all the time. But the problem that they run into is actually getting it out in production and getting it in the stores. Well, let me tell you about my friends at InventHelp. InventHelp has been helping inventors for over 30 years. And what they do is they package inventors' ideas, they provide a patent referral, and then they submit the idea to companies that want to receive new ideas. And some of their clients have included Lowe's, Toys R Us, Home Depot, Target, and Walmart, just to name a few. Their number is 1-800-352-1597. That's 1-800-352-1597. That's 1-800-352-1597. InventHelp is a proud sponsor of the Caiden Cowger program. Have you ever been involved in an auto accident or had to get your car repaired and then got an expensive bill? For example, you're driving home on a shopping trip you didn't want to go on in the first place, and the next thing you know, traveling at just 65 miles per hour, a stupid deer jumps right out in front of you and whack, hits you right in the front of the car. Yeah, sorry, I had a flashback. Well, let me tell you about our sponsor, Maximum Car Care. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, American Auto Protection has announced a revolutionary low-cost extended service plan that is now available to the general public to save customers thousands of dollars on auto repairs. They can be reached at 1-800-824-9762. That is 1-800-824-9762. 9762. That's 1-800-824-9762. Do your teeth ever get stained from drinking a lot of coffee or tea? And then when that happens, you have to make an appointment, you have to go to the dentist, and then they scrape half your gum out along with the plaque. It's horrible. Well, let me tell you about our friends at Paraswabs. Paraswabs is the 5-minute solution to get teeth white without visiting the dentist. Teeth that are stained from coffee or tea will be 2 shades whiter with just one Paraswabs treatment. Paraswabs is clinically proven to whiten teeth as well as caps. They can be reached by calling 1-800-678-4817. That is 1-800-678-4817. That is 1-800-678-4817. That is 1-800-678-4817.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the Caiden Cowger program. We are here with State Senator Robert Karnes, Republican of Upshur County, the 11th District. Mr. Karnes, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Caiden.
So it's great to have you on again, I got to say. So this is your first term in the Senate, right?
Yeah, first term.
First term, you've already gotten yourself in a little bit of hot water. I like it. So first of all, tell us a little bit about what right to work is.
Well, right to work in West Virginia, what most fundamentally means is that we don't require, our minors to watch their union dues go to elect a president like Barack Obama after he said he was going to destroy the coal industry.
Right.
And, so it's kind of issues of freedom like that are really big for me. But then we also add in the fact that most economic studies show that it will add some to our economic growth. And so you've got two powerful reasons when you consider the current state of our economy. Job growth is obviously critically important, but so is freedom. And so for me, it's really both issues are a big part of this.
Right. So tell us exactly what unfolded there in the Senate.
When the Senate was debating this issue, we actually allowed, and as is proper, all of the folks on the other side of the aisle that wanted to get up and speak, for the most part, had their chance to get up and speak. Nobody was, interrupted anybody. Nobody heckled anybody.
Right.
But as soon as Republicans started to get up and speak, there was a small handful of people up in the gallery that took that as, their sign. And so they would laugh loudly and guffaw and occasionally call things down from the gallery, basically trying to interrupt the debate and just disrupt things overall. And so in the middle of my comments that I was making, somebody, not only did the laughter kind of stuff loud like that, but also somebody yelled down that, liar or lies or something along those lines. And there had been a couple of people. And so I just responded to that. Part of the debate had related to what the unions like to call free riders. And I just responded by saying that these guys up here in the gallery, the hecklers, the ones that are being disruptive for the free riders.
Right. So basically, they were calling people who were in support of right to work free riders, basically, right?
Right.
And you were just responding back. The real free riders are the ones that are here right now, not working. So, that's supposedly causing all this controversy.
That down.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I would tailor that down a little bit and say, everybody has a right to come down to the Capitol and to watch the debate. And so I wouldn't necessarily say that just being in the gallery that's not who I was addressing. I was only talking specifically about the guys up there. And a lot of those guys that were doing that had been in my office, literally a day or two before. And I invited them into my office. I talked to them. We discussed issues. I treated them respectfully when they were in my office. And I think it's not something that's a huge obstacle that I should be able to expect that during the debate on the floor that they would also act respectfully. I realize there are disagreements. This is a big issue. It's a very emotional issue for a lot of people. But we can't possibly have a civil discourse in society when one side is just bent on interrupting and behaving badly.
Right. And another thing that I've seen where right to work has come up, and one of the main reasons why I think it should be passed is that when you have unionized companies and everything, and you're forcing people to be a part of these unions, in many cases they are funding, these unions are funding candidates that some conservative, more conservative union members don't want to support, so they should have the option to opt out of that because they give money to those candidates. It's one thing.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And another thing is that you have people who are signed up with these unions, and then when they do something that is quite, wrong and they should deserve to get fired over that, a lot of times the employers have a difficulty firing them because they're unionized. We've seen that in Wisconsin. So, when it really comes down to it, we're a pro-union, really sort of a pro-union state. We're known for unions and everything. But, one thing, unless you work for, say, Jim Justice's mines, that's really there's no purpose for unions anymore, personally, is what I believe. Now, that's not what right to work does. It just gives you the option, correct?
Right.
To opt
gives
in
you
or
the
out.
option.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that it's going to break unions. Actually, one of the things that came up during the debate,
right.
and, I think it's an interesting statistic, is that the largest, or I should say the fastest growing union state in the United States today is Indiana. Mm-hmm. And if you look, you'll see that Indiana is a right-to-work state. And so right-to-work doesn't actually mean that the union is going to die. What right-to-work often means is that the union will become responsive to the membership. So no more Barack Obama endorsements, no more far-left endorsements, because there are people who are in the union who will demand that the union be responsive to the membership.
Right. And, that's one of the things that I found really interesting that happened here regarding the union in Buchanan with Kroger's, if you remember that. The Kroger's in Lewis County, they're in Weston, ended up going out of business. And then people here in Buchanan lost their jobs because the one in Lewis County went out of business because those people transferred over there, and because they had seniority and it was a union thing, they ended up having to either relocate or they just were fired and lost their job there. And overall, I just think people should have an option whether or not to get into a union or not. And another thing that I'm seeing here, even if you want to use the free rider argument on the other side, what about people who work for a company such as Walmart? And then all of a sudden, Walmart becomes unionized, and some people who work for Walmart presently don't want to be a member of that union. They don't have that option without right to work being implemented. So, personally, I think it's a good legislation. I know it gets a lot of heat for people. You and Senator Boso both have been getting some flack for it by the pro-union supporters. But is there anything else you wanted to add?
I do just want to, I appreciate you having me on, but I'll touch real fast on that free rider argument, and that is simply this, that the National Labor Relations Board has held in more than one decision, and it's been backed up by Supreme Court decisions as well, that unions are not required to represent non-members in a workplace. They can have a members-only agency relationship. But, this is a very, as I said before, emotional issue. It looks like it's mostly behind us now. The governor will certainly veto both this as well as the prevailing wage bill. We are going to override those vetoes, and then we can move on to – we've got a lot of important stuff to take care of in the state.
And that's another thing that I want to point out, too. One of the interesting things about overriding the vetoes, you just have to have a majority in both houses to override that, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. We've got the numbers. We're going to do it.
All right, sounds good. Well, Senator Carnes, thank you so much for coming on. You're welcome anytime.
Thank you, Kate.
All right, thank you. God bless you. All right, so that was, once again, Senator Robert Carnes of Upshur County's 11th District. I really want to thank him for calling in and doing the interview. It was a great interview. And as he explained right there, he was not talking about all opponents of right to work. He was just talking about the loudmouth ones up in the stands that were being extremely rude and disruptive. But I think he made a good case for right to work. And people should not be forced to join a union that they do not want to belong to. That's just the way that it is, all right? If you work for Walmart or something like that, if you work for a company that is not unionized, and then all of a sudden here they become unionized and you don't want to join that union, you want to stay away from that union because you don't want that union to take a big chunk out of your paycheck every time, then what? Shouldn't you have the right not to be a part of that union? To choose, no, I don't want a big chunk of my money to be taken out of my paycheck. I think that's fair. And guys, unions were originally established to prevent harsh working conditions, to stop harsh working conditions, to make safer alternatives for that. That's what they were originally designed for, and they've just completely changed. They become dormant, and it's a good legislation.
Some say he's the next Rush Limbaugh.
I tell you, this kid's got 90% of Rush's venom with only 10% of the biomass.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is John Greenhut, the CEO of Power Swabs. And if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-678-4817. That's 1-800-678-4817. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-678-4817. That's 1-800-678-4817.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-824-9762. Again, 800-824-9762. That's 800-824-9762. 800-824-9762.
When you're ready to take the edge off a hectic day, I suggest you start with a little music from Franz Black.
I guess there's lots of ways to look at things that don't seem right.
No Worries has just been released on iTunes and Amazon.
It's gonna be alright.
You can find Franz Black and his music on his website, franzblack.com. F-R-A-N-Z black.com.
It's gonna be alright.
Have you ever been involved in an auto accident or had to get your car repaired and then got an expensive bill? For example, you're driving home on a shopping trip you didn't want to go on in the first place, and the next thing you know, traveling at just 65 miles per hour, a stupid deer jumps right out in front of you and whack, hits you right in the front of the car. Yeah, sorry, I had a flashback. Well, let me tell you about our sponsor, Maximum Car Care. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, American Auto Protection has announced a revolutionary low-cost extended service plan that is now available to the general public to save customers thousands of dollars on auto repairs. They can be reached at 1-800-824-9762. That is 1-800-824-9762. That's 1-800-824-9762. Have you ever had this brilliant idea for an invention? I mean, you think that if this invention actually gets out in production and is able to be marketed and everything, this will make you millions and millions of dollars. So people have ideas like this all the time. But the problem that they run into is actually getting it out in production and getting it in the stores. Well, let me tell you about my friends at InventHelp. InventHelp has been helping inventors for over 30 years. And what they do is they package inventors' ideas, they provide a patent referral, and then they submit the idea to companies that want to receive new ideas. And some of their clients have included Lowe's, Toys R Us, Home Depot, Target, and Walmart, just to name a few. Their number is 1-800-352-1597. That's 1-800-352-1597. That's 1-800-352-1597. 1597. InventHelp is a proud sponsor of the Caiden Cowger program. Do your teeth ever get stained from drinking a lot of coffee or tea? And then when that happens, you have to make an appointment, you have to go to the dentist, and then they scrape half your gum out along with the plaque. It's horrible. Well, let me tell you about our friends at Power Swabs. Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get teeth white without visiting the dentist. Teeth that are stained from coffee or tea will be 2 shades whiter with just one Power Swabs treatment. Power Swabs is clinically proven to whiten teeth as well as caps. They can be reached by calling 1-800-678-4817. That is 1-800-678-4817. That is 1-800-678-4817. 4817. That is 1-800-678-4817.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Caiden Cowger program. Great to have you with us. So here's something that I wanted to bring up for you. Hillary Clinton allowed an American flag to be crumpled up on the ground at one of her campaign rallies. It's really just absolutely sick. It's not flag etiquette. It's so terrible. I mean, obviously, you're supposed, when, this is basic stuff out of the flag code, okay? You do not allow the American flag to touch the ground. You don't do it, okay? It's very disrespectful. And to see this happen at a presidential campaign rally, it's really just absolutely disgusting. The Washington Post is the one who published this. And American Mirror, the AmericanMirror.com ended up picking it up. But with many hours to go is what the tweet says. This was on February 9th. It was yesterday, or actually, it was yesterday. On February 9th at 2:48 p.m., I assume in New Hampshire, they posted a picture with many hours to go. Clinton's staff has flags ready for their election night party. And it's a picture of the American flag crumpled up on the ground. It's so absolutely sick. And the photo was taken by a lady named Milena Mera or something like that. And she's the photographer or photojournalist at the Washington Post. She's their Washington, D.C. Correspondent, I guess. But anyway, that's really just absolutely horrible. I mean, why would you allow the American flag, especially when you're running for the presidency, why would you allow the American flag to hit the ground? You don't do that. You do not do that. And by the way, guys, you remember I was saying earlier, it'd really be interesting if Joe Biden would jump into this race. Apparently, Joe Biden is not giving up. He's not necessarily going to be ruling anything out, because from what we see here from a Drudge Report anyway, it shows that Biden might not, decide to jump in. And this is from New York Times here, because I'm sorry, I'm reading through this article as I'm talking to you guys here. But in this New York Times article, it says here, Joe Biden is not ruling anything out. He's ruling ruling nothing out either. So he's not ruling if he's going to run or if he isn't going to run. So he's still considering it. And I'm telling you guys, after this New Hampshire thing, there's a very good chance that Biden will jump in to save the day for the Democratic Party. Although there is a lot of material that we could be using against Biden, let me tell you. So, yeah, that's what we have going on there. And, yeah, and Drudge Report picked this up, too, of where an American flag was crumpled on the headquarters floor of the Clinton campaign. I mean, she didn't have any respect for her soldiers over there in Benghazi, so it's really not all that surprising that she doesn't have any respect for our flag. So, yeah, that's what we have going on there. Let's see. Another thing that we have here, Twitter is announcing that they are going to be having, I guess, a trust and a safety panel to police content. This is a new thing that's going on. Twitter on Tuesday announced the formation of a new trust and safety council, which will work to develop policies censoring speech on the site. This is from the Washington Examiner. The group will be composed of more than 40 organizations from 13 regions around the world. With hundreds of millions of tweets sent per day, the volume of content on Twitter is massive, which makes it extraordinary, okay? Complex to strike the right balance between fighting abuse and speaking truth to power, Twitter said in a statement. It requires a multi-layered approach where each of our 320 million users has a part to play, as do the community of experts working for safety and free expression, the statement added. The announcement is the latest by Twitter in a string of moves aimed at improving its public image. Both the Obama administration and members of Congress have been calling on social media sites, and particularly Twitter, to do more to assist the fight against terrorism. A California woman filed suit against Twitter in December, claiming that propaganda spread by the Islamic State on the site contributed to her husband's shooting death in Jordan. Okay, if her husband did not want to be involved in that, then seriously, he wouldn't have done it, okay? So you can't blame Twitter for that. It's just like suing McDonald's for making you fat. Anyway, the latest move will contribute to combating violent speech on the site, but will likely expand Twitter's effort to police content far beyond that as well. Groups involved with the council inside the Gay and Lesbian, include the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, Feminist Frequency, European School Net, and the International League Against Racism and Anti-Semitism, I guess, will be involved in this. So that's wonderful. Twitter said it intended for the group to be comprised of safety advocates, academics, and researchers focused on minors, media literacy, digital censorship, and efforts around greater compassion and empathy on the internet. So basically, in so many words, if you believe in traditional marriage, you're not going to be able to use Twitter probably. So, Brian, my good friend Brian Fisher there at AFR, get ready. We're going to have to leave. So that's what Twitter's going. They're undergoing some great changes on there. And considering that there are a lot of trolls that are on Twitter, I can only imagine what's going to happen when they end up getting kicked off there, because they're going to try to I'd say there'll be people that'll try to hack Twitter. Because a lot of the trolls, if they don't get a troll, then they do it even worse. I learned that when I used to take callers on the show. But anyway, so let's see what we have going on here. Another thing that we have. Apparently, and this is another interesting thing, Beyonce was speaking at performing at the Super Bowl, and she delivered this performance that was in support of Black Lives Matter and the Black Panthers. Breitbart reported this in a video on Facebook that I was watching. And anyway, Beyonce was basically dedicating an entire song, performance, whatever, to the Black Lives Matter movement and to the Black Panther Party, praising, I guess, black supremacy over whites. So that's another thing that we have there. So rather than actually praising the vets and taking that as an opportunity to thank the men and women who have lost their lives over, out yonder defending our liberty, Beyonce felt it would be better to turn that into a Black Lives Matter thing, and how white privilege is destroying this country and how whites are evil and bad and we got to get rid of all them crackers. So that's what Beyonce's saying. Hey, if MSNBC can say crackers all the time, I can too. They just can't say the other word because that would be racist. Anyway. Another thing that we have here, the Supreme Court is looking into possibly taking out President Obama's Clean Power Plan. There, I got it out. A divided Supreme Court agreed Tuesday to halt the enforcement of President Barack Obama's, I can't talk. I hate it when that happens. Obama's sweeping plan to address climate change until after legal challenges are resolved. The surprising move is a blow to the administration and a victory for the coalition of 27 mostly Republican-led states and industry opponents that call for the regulations. And they call the regulations an unprecedented power grab. By temporarily freezing the rule, the Supreme Court, or the High Court, signals that opponents have made strong arguments against the plan. A federal appeals court last month refused to put it on hold. The court's 4 liberal justices said that they have denied the request. But I guess 5 are saying okay. The plan aims to stave off the worst predicted impacts of climate change by reducing carbon dioxide emissions at existing power plants by 1/3 by 2030. So if we get a Republican president in there, that's going to be taken out. The compliance period starts in 2022, but states must admit their plans to the Environmental Protection Agency or administration by, administration. So finally, the Supreme Court's doing something right.
Caiden Cowger.
Keeping America straight.
Somebody had to say it.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Paraswabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is John Greenhut, the CEO of Paraswabs. And if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Paraswabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Paraswabs risk-free, call 1-800-678-4817. That's 1-800-678-4817. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-678-4817. That's 1-800-678-4817.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-824-9762. Again, 800-824-9762. That's 800-824-9762. 800-824-9762.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
Call 1-800-352-1597. That's 1-800-352-1597.
Have you ever had this brilliant idea for an invention? I mean, you think that if this idea, if this invention actually gets out in production and is able to be marketed and everything, this will make you millions and millions of dollars. So people have ideas like this all the time. But the problem that they run into is actually getting it out in production and getting it in the stores. Well, let me tell you about my friends at InventHelp. InventHelp has been helping inventors for over 30 years. And what they do is they package inventors' ideas, they provide a patent referral, and then they submit the idea to companies that want to receive new ideas. And some of their clients have included Lowe's, Toys R Us, Home Depot, Target, and Walmart, just to name a few. Their number is 1-800-352-1597. That's 1-800-352-1597. That's 1-800-352-1597. InventHelp is a proud sponsor of the Caiden Cowger program. Do your teeth ever get stained from drinking a lot of coffee or tea? And then when that happens, you have to make an appointment, you have to go to the dentist, and then they scrape half your gum out along with the plaque. It's horrible. Well, let me tell you about our friends at Paraswabs. Paraswabs is the 5-minute solution to get teeth white without visiting the dentist. Teeth that are stained from coffee or tea will be 2 shades whiter with just one Paraswabs treatment. Paraswabs is clinically proven to whiten teeth as well as caps. They can be reached by calling 1-800-678-4817. That is 1-800-678-4817. That is 1-800-678-4817. That is 1-800-678-4817. Have you ever been involved in an auto accident or had to get your car repaired and then got an expensive bill? For example, you're driving home on a shopping trip you didn't want to go on in the first place, and the next thing you know, traveling at just 65 miles per hour, a stupid deer jumps right out in front of you and whack, hits you right in the front of the car. Yeah, sorry, I had a flashback. Well, let me tell you about our sponsor, Maximum Car Care. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, American Auto Protection has announced a revolutionary low-cost extended service plan that is now available to the general public to save customers thousands of dollars on auto repairs. They can be reached at 1-800-824-9762. That is 1-800-824-9762. 9762. That's 1-800-824-9762.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Caiden Cowger program. It is great to have you with us. Okay, so I have an article here for you from Breitbart.com. There's a new thing that's out here on the Huffington Post. And apparently, the Huffington Post decided to start trolling Trump. New Hampshire goes racist, sexist, xenophobic, whatever that is. So that's Huffington Post. So they're freaking out that Donald Trump won New Hampshire. Left-wing Huffington Post screamed a big red headline at the New Hampshire primary voters for daring to vote for border security and the rule of law Tuesday night. New Hampshire goes racist, sexist, xenophobic. The Huffington Post headline read, after winning New Hampshire by double digits, Donald is a major threat to the left's plan to win a permanent majority by flooding America with millions of illegal Democrats. That's by John Nolt at Breitbart.com. So, yeah, that's what we have going on there. Very great news that we're hearing with Donald Trump winning that, because I'm just saying, I like Trump, I like Cruz, I like them both. But, personally, I really want that border secure because, that is one of the biggest threats, I think, to America right now regarding, it's a big threat to the Republican Party as well, because on a national security level, you can't have illegal immigrants flooding across the border because they can, allow terrorists in and everything. Because if you think that all, illegal immigrants are Mexican, not only are you racist, but you're stupid. Because let me tell you, ISIS can just come across that border because if someone from Mexico can easily cross the border, a terrorist can easily cross the border as well and bring terror to the United States, okay? If you needed the redundancy there. So anyway, I really would like to see that border secure. And on top of that, it's been proven that when you grant amnesty, you grant free citizenship to these illegal immigrants, it ends up creating more documented Democrats. That's what happens. And they vote Democrat every time. They tried this in 1986. Ronald Reagan signed the executive amnesty not executive amnesty. I take that back. What did I say? Well, Obama enacted executive amnesty. That's where I got that word. I take that back. He didn't enact executive amnesty. It was a bipartisan bill passed with the Simpson-Mazzoli Act, I believe. And it granted legal status and granted citizenship to all the illegal immigrants that were presently in the country and was supposed to also secure the border. Well, guess what? Here we are several years later talking about the same exact thing. We're going to grant amnesty to illegal immigrants and we're going to secure the border. That's what we're hearing from the establishment. We've already tried this. It didn't work the first time. It's not going to work the second time. Okay? And to make matters even worse, we went from winning 37% of Hispanics in 1984. We passed amnesty in 1986, and then in 1988 with the election between George H.W. Bush versus Dukakis, we ended up losing 7 percentage points and only won 30% of Hispanics after amnesty. So we didn't gain, we lost. And Lindsey Graham said a long time ago, the only way I believe we can get back in good graces with the Hispanic community is if we pass comprehensive immigration reform. That's what Lindsey Graham said, okay? And research has shown and history has shown us that that is not the case. We don't get back in good graces with the Hispanic community. We end up losing them because they become registered Democrats. It hurts our country. It hurts our party. We do not need to grant amnesty. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening to us tonight. For more information on the Caiden Cowger program, go to CaidenCowgerProgram.com. And for the latest news exposing the left, go to CowgerNation.com. Thank you, God bless, and God save this nation.